nation. Game on the line, you can bet we take them. Go black and gold, black and gold. Don't stop, boy, we trying to win the Super Bowl. We rock and roll, rock and roll. Touchdown, go Saints, we gonna do it some more. We rock and roll, rock and roll. Touchdown, go Saints, now give me some more. Now who that, who that, holla, who that, who that, holla, who that, who that, holla, who that, who that, who that, who that, who that nation. Black and gold, black, black and gold. Oh yeah. Fast up. Black and gold, black and gold, black, black. Who that, who that? They ain't ready, they ain't ready, they ain't ready for us. They ain't ready, they ain't ready, they ain't ready for us. They ain't ready, they ain't ready, they ain't ready for the black and gold, black, black. Who that, who that? They ain't ready, they ain't ready, they ain't ready. What up? They ain't ready, they ain't ready, they ain't ready. What up? They ain't ready, they ain't ready, they ain't ready for the black and gold, black, black and gold. Game time, baby.
Hi, I'm TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And I ask that you like, share, and comment on this video. Thanks for watching. All I gotta say is, who that?
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. We are live right now on what I like to call Montague Street. The new studio is on and popping. This is the first episode that we have done. Second episode we've done in the new studio that I dubbed Montague Street. I tell y'all a little bit about the reason why I'm calling it that. Montague Street was the name of the street that my grandparents stayed on for over 20 years. So, just in honor of them, also my New Orleans roots, I decided to call my brand new studio Montague Street. But thank y'all so much for chilling on Montague Street with yours truly to talk New Orleans Saints football. And shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. Shouts out to everybody listening around the country, around the world. Everybody that's watching right now. Really do appreciate your time. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Saints minicamp. Saints minicamp is going to kick off this week. And there are so many different storylines that involve the black and gold. There are so many guys that are trying to step up to emerge to starting roles. One guy in particular that I wrote an article about today on Gumbo Pot Sports. You can check that out on gumbopotsports.com about DeMarco Jackson, which we're going to be talking a little bit about in the show. But there are so many different storylines going into this camp. This is a brand new Saints team for the most part, new faces at positions that are very, very important, and these guys need to play well. And it's going to be important that these guys step up. I think last week, the biggest shocker was Michael Thomas returning so prematurely. I think a lot of people thought Michael Thomas probably would have shown up around training camp time, right? Around the time where, it's time to, rock and roll. But the fact that he actually showed up early, there's some videos that are out right now. Michael Thomas getting it in, squatting 500 pounds and all that kind of stuff there. It's good to see Michael Thomas out there, on the field and also, in the weight room. And, I heard some people, that they emailed me. They were talking about Michael Thomas, the way that he looks as far as, his size. It seemed like, he got a little bit of a belly there and stuff like that. But my question is to you is, how is this guy supposed to stay in cardiovascular shape? The fact that he's dealing with a toe injury and an ankle injury. Like, how is he able to walk on the treadmill? How is he able to run? I think that's something that people need to pay attention to. But Michael Thomas, to me, I have no doubt that Michael Thomas will be back to Michael Thomas form, in the 2023 season. And the Saints are going to need him to come and be back at that Michael Thomas form, especially since they have a brand new quarterback in Derek Carr coming over from the Las Vegas Raiders. And also, I mentioned DeMarco Jackson. DeMarco Jackson, the linebacker that was drafted in the 5th round last year out of Appalachian State, came in, played really well, like during practice, especially in coverage. And I was extremely impressed the way he was able to cover tight ends and running backs. And that is what the new NFL is all about. Like you can't just be one of those linebackers that just kind of stand still, mostly like the guys like the Lawrence Taylors and the Ricky Jacksons of old that just tried to get after the quarterback. But you got to have the ability to be able to cover. And he also is going to be filling a huge void. The fact that Caden Ellis is no longer with the team. Say what you want about Caden Ellis. Say what you want to, say about him. Him being injured throughout his Saints career. But last season, he stepped up when it mattered most. He had 78 tackles. He had 7 sacks, and he started in 11 games. And he was in there when Pete Werner went out, another guy who we are expecting to take that extra step going into his 3rd season. I mean, his rookie season to his sophomore season, he developed leaps and bounds. I mean, it was absolutely incredible to watch Pete Werner play. But if he can stay healthy, I think that the Saints will be fine. I think that DeMarco Jackson's development is one of the main reasons why I think the Saints aren't as anxious to go out here to try to find a linebacker. Sometimes, when teams don't make moves and they try to work within house, I think it tells us a lot about a team. It tells us a lot about where this team feels they are. And I think it was like that last year. We thought that the Saints need to go out here and go back and get Quan Alexander, or they needed to go get a free agent linebacker. But little did we know that Pete Werner was going to step up the way that he did. And I am looking forward to seeing what DeMarco Jackson is going to do. I like him. I think he's a high motor guy, and I think he's an extremely smart guy. He was a first-team All Sun Belt coming out of college, defensive player of the year coming out of the Sun Belt. So I expect for him to step up in a major way. The secondary, there's a lot of new guys, new faces that are out there. Want to see how these guys are going to mesh together. You got some guys that are returning, the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, and Marcus May, got a full season under their belts, being acclimated to the Saints defense. So I expect for them to be able to play a little bit faster, as well as guys like Alontae Taylor going into his 2nd season. I think there are high expectations about him. Some Saints fans would rather see him opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, but I still feel like Paulson Adebo has something to say about that. And I think there's going to be an interesting competition. And I have to give the Saints coaching staff credit for this. The fact that they are making competition happen at camp. They're making it happen at all positions. Even guys like Will Lutz, who to me kind of struggled last season, and I feel like maybe got a little bit comfortable after he got that contract. And not to mention he was dealing with some injuries. The Saints brought in a new kicker who is really making it interesting. And honestly, the guy is doing so well from what I heard. It could be Will Lutz can be on the chopping block, So I like the way the Saints are doing things. I like the competitive nature of this team. I like what they're trying to do. I like what this team is all about. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do heading into minicamp. It is mandatory, so you're probably going to see some guys coming back. Hopefully Alvin Kamara will be back. I don't think him being out has anything to do with what he's doing as far as his court case. I just think that Alvin Kamara just does not show up to OTAs. I mean, but he is going to be at mandatory minicamp. I'm pretty sure that 3 days that they're going to have it before, they adjourn. And then the next time we see this team is going to be around training camp. So I am going to be looking for energy. I'm going to be looking for guys, who got the first team reps. I'm going to be looking for guys who are taking advantage of those opportunities, because it's going to be extremely important. If you take a rep off at this offseason for the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion, you might end up being on outside looking in. And as far as minicamp will kick off tomorrow. It's a 3 days. So it's going to kick off for the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. So should be interesting, man. Shouts out to all of the Saints media guys that are on the ground, giving us a wall-to-wall coverage about the team. Shouts out to them. Shouts out to all the brothers that are kind enough to give me a little bit of information to share with you all. But definitely going to be talking about this, and hopefully everything goes smoothly, not just mini camp, but also going into training camp, which we're going to be covering, entire all season and what we expect from this team right here on the State of the Saints podcast. I'm going to read some of your comments. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to read some of these comments and then we're going to open up the phone lines. I'm not going to hold you all alone. And, I know a lot of people have something to say about the team. So I'm going to be opening up the phone lines really, really soon. So keep it locked right here. I ask that you hit the like button if you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast. If you want to donate to the State of the Saints podcast, you can do so by through super chats. And also, if you want to, if you're new to the show, if you're new to the State of the Saints podcast, make sure you subscribe. And if you're on the fence about it, hopefully you hit that subscription button towards the end of the show. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with Yellow says, complain he ain't there just to complain. He ain't in the shape they want. LOL. Bro can't win. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't understand how people expect for him to be able to maintain his cardio routine if he has leg and foot injuries. Like, I don't understand it. Like, he's dealing with ankle injury. He had to get surgery on his toe. Like, how is he going to run? How is he going to stay in shape? Like if you're just sitting down, it's a lot of downtime during that time, right? So how do people expect for this dude to, stay in shape and be able to work on his cardio if he's dealing with a foot injury? I don't know. I just think this is one of those situations where I hate to say it, people just like to complain, I don't like that, man. The fact is the guy came back earlier than anybody anticipated. The entire time people were talking about, is he going to be out there at all? Now you see him, and now all of a sudden, like that, now is the way that he looks, which, to be quite honest with you, the only reason why I acknowledge that is because of, I feel like, what's going on with him, it needs to be said. It needs to be addressed. The fact is the guy can't run and he can't be able to do some of the things that, keep him in cardiovascular shape. So I don't understand what people would actually want here. Strolling down a little bit, says, what do you think if the Saints go after Cook, the running back? Well, that was kind of something that I alluded to in the description. Dalvin Cook was the guy that I was talking about. There are some, there are some stories linking Dalvin Cook to the New Orleans Saints. I feel like, to me, I don't think it's a good idea at this point. I think if the Saints didn't go in the direction of getting Jamal Williams, getting Kendre Miller, I would say, hey, maybe y'all need to look at, getting a guy like Dalvin Cook. But the fact that you have Alvin Kamara, Miller, and Williams, I don't feel like there's a need to get Dalvin Cook. I feel like Dalvin Cook would do better in a place like Miami, who has a running back by committee, and he can be that starting running back. Some of these other teams that are out here that are available, probably looking for a running back. Maybe, I look at the Denver Broncos. That would be a good place for him. Devontae Williams coming off that injury that he sustained week 4 of last year. We all know what Sean Payton can do with a running back like Dalvin Cook. That probably can be a really good space for him. Another spot would be the Los Angeles Chargers. I think that would be a good spot for him. They have Austin Eckler, of course, but who knows what's going to happen with that. The Rams, Cam Akers had some issues with the Rams last season. So, maybe, the Rams aren't really that sold on him. I mean, I don't know if people were following the Rams like that, but Cam Akers went home and it was kind of like on a hush. Nobody really wanted to talk about it. He wasn't really happy because he wanted a new contract. So maybe Dalvin Cook, that would be an interesting place for him as well. But there's so many different spots where Dalvin Cook can come in and be the number one running back, not sharing the backfield with a bunch of guys, and I just think that the Saints already have formidable running back talent. if somebody was to go down, somebody else can step up. And I don't think we, as a fan base or onlookers would miss a beat. All those guys are capable of carrying the load if one guy goes down. And that's exactly what you want in your backfield. Adding Dalvin Cook would not benefit the Saints at all. At this point, it would be almost like, where would he go? Where would he go? I don't know. Can't wait to see Pancake Penny and the bruising O-line letting Carr check his lottery tickets like Breeze used to do while passing. Well, let's just hope that's the case. It's been a while since we've seen a dominant performance season-wide by the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints. So hopefully they can get back to some of those old traditions that we all loved. I don't expect for Bushride, Goodwin, Evans, Zach Streif to come through that door. But at the same time, I got to give a shout out to my guy, John Stinscombe, as well. I don't expect for none of those guys to walk through that door. But if you can have a formidable offensive line and be the offensive line that we need them to be, then I think that the Saints will be just fine. I mean, offensive line definitely needs to step up this season. Kind of living off reputation at this time. But right now, they aren't living up to that reputation. It's almost like we don't really talk about the offensive line because in years past, the offensive line has been dominant. So we kind of be like, oh, well, we got a good offensive line. But when you peel it back and you peel back those layers, you're like, do we really have a good offensive line, or does it really need some work? That includes my favorite player, Ryan Ramczyk. It's been a while since we've seen him be dominant at the right tackle position, but I understand that he's been dealing with injuries, and the injury that he sustained is going to be something that lingers with him throughout his career. But, still, he's still dominant, and a lot of these guys have developed. We expect Trevor Penning to take that extra step at the left tackle position, being a year removed. I know he dealt with some injuries, but still, you're around the team. You have opportunity to work on your strength and conditioning, your cardio, and being able to be that dominant offensive lineman that the Saints need him to be. Let's see. What will you be willing to trade to get Danielle Hunter? What will I be willing to trade to get Danielle Hunter? Well, Danielle Hunter been in the league for quite some time. So I'm always looking at guys, they've been in the league for a while that have dealt with injuries. Like, you have to take that into consideration. You don't want to be giving up first and second round picks for a guy that may not be able to be there for the whole entire season. Danielle Hunter is extremely talented. We all know that. But the problem is he's been dealing with that injury. And I think he had if I'm not mistaken, he's dealing with a neck injury. So you don't know what you're going to get with that. So based on that information, you have to respect the talent that he is. I would say around a third or fourth round pick for a guy like Danielle Hunter. But to me, even with a third round pick, you might be risking it just a little bit due to his injury history and how serious those injuries when it comes to the neck and, back area could possibly be. So I would say like a third or fourth round pick. TJ, are you going to Saint training camp this year, sir? Yeah, I'm going to try to make it out there to the training camp, man. I'm going to try to get out there maybe like one weekend or something like that, or maybe for a couple of days, probably check it out. Of course, my job and everything like that, I can't be able to get out there. And plus, on top of that, I'm not just going to be focusing on, Saints camp fully. You know what I'm saying? I got opportunity to go to other NFL teams camps, and I want to check that out. And I got to do that because, it's about the Gumbo Pod Sports podcast and Gumbo Pod Sports. Shouts out to the NFL teams that that gave me the opportunity to be able to go to some of their training camps. So I want to check those out as well to be able to write content. But of course, definitely going to try to make my way out there to Saints camp. Unfortunately, some of the media credentials and criteria, I don't know. I don't know. Just not on the same page when it comes to the Saints PR team, which is cool, man. I guess, sometimes, when people are honest about certain things, people don't like it. Sometimes when you crack jokes and have a good time, sometimes people don't like it, but it's not going to stop anything. I'm still going to be out there, even if I have to be an onlooker and, don't really get that access that I need. I'm still going to be out there to be able to cover the team and be able to do the things that I want to do. But once again, shouts out to the other NFL teams that were nice enough to be able to grant me those credentials to check out their teams. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna open up the phone lines right now, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you all have to say about Saints minicamp. You have questions or you have comments, feel free to chime in. Would love to hear from you. Let's see. Joe says, TJ, how much better do you think the offense is going to be this year? If last year was a C minus, what's this year grade going to be and why? Well, I mean, only time will tell. I'm always kind of skeptical of having these predictions based on what I see and the players, because on paper they look like they're going to be a formidable bunch. I mean, the guys that the Saints have brought in offensively, guys that are going to be able to come back, the offensive linemen that are going from year one to year two, and the ones that are starting to emerge to be seasoned veterans. You got to take that into account. But I do think that the dynamic of Derek Carr, be that as it may, if he has a really good command of the offense, which I think we all expect him to have, I expect for them to do much better and be much better than they were last season. Last season left a lot to be desired. Bad taste in your mouth. If you probably wasn't a Saints fan, you would turn your TV off because you're not interested in what's going on. But I think that you're going to see better offensive play. I think that you're going to see more opportunities for the running backs based on how Derek Carr plays the game. I mean, Derek Carr may not be your first choice. You have a lot of Saints fans that want Jameis Winston to be their quarterback. But one thing you have to admit about Derek Carr, he can get the ball into the hands of the playmakers. He has made a career out of making average wide receivers look more and better than average. And he makes really good decisions, when it comes to throwing a football. He has a high completion percentage rate. He has the ability to bring back the team if they're down and they're dealing with a deficit. So if you're taking all those things into account, I expect for the offense to be much better than it was last year. And if it's not, then something is terribly wrong. You have to look at the coaching staff at this particular point, because the Saints have done everything they possibly could to try to bring in guys that not only complement Derek Carr as a quarterback, but also guys that can go out there and are capable of making plays if you just give them the ball. The ability to get yards after the catch, the ability to get behind the defense, the ability to make guys miss. You're bringing all these guys in, and also not to mention you brought in Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns. So the Saints, who dealt with short yardage situations, couldn't get a yard, I mean, time after time, in order for them to get first down and move the chains. I mean, you're doing all these things in order for your team to get better. If your team doesn't get better, you can't just look at the players. You got to start looking at the coaching staff, So there you go. I think if it's a change in camp this year, we will be okay. DA cannot have a short practice the entire camp. Yeah, you can't, man. I mean, look, short camps and all that kind of stuff are for teams that have established themselves and the players know the coach knows them. Or, if you're, really excited about how camp is going and how things are going, coming together. But I do feel like it was a little bit too lax last year, too ho-hum, if you ask me. I just feel like this year, and I have to give him credit. Dennis Allen has a really good command of this team. He has a really strong command of this team. So the way that I'm looking at it, I think that, I think it's going to be different. I think it also has a lot to do with Dennis Allen ability, to feel comfortable as the head coach. I feel like last year, you're wondering how guys are going to take a certain situation, how I speak about it, how I talk about it, this, that, and the third. But this year, I just feel like now that he added his own coaches and his own flavor to it, he feels like it's his team. So I think that you're probably going to see a little bit of a difference because of Dennis Allen's comfortability at being a head coach. We're going to go to Dolph. Dolph, how you doing, man? Dolph, can you hear me? Okay, so Dolph, can you hear me? All right, we'll get back to Dolph. But the phone lines are open. Who That Nation, if you want to chime in, I'll go ahead and put that link down in there again. I don't know if everybody saw it or not. But in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and read some of your comments. It says, honestly, not saying he's Drew Brees, but if you took Drew throw chart and Winston, you basically get both sides. Just got to give the man a chance to show it in our system. Yeah, look, man, I'm not one of those people. Look, I like Jameis Winston. I got a lot of respect for Jameis Winston, but beating the drum for Jameis Winston at this point is kind of pointless. I mean, Derek Carr is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, and people just got to deal with it. And it's not a slight or a disrespect towards Jameis at all. It's the fact that Dennis Allen and the New Orleans Saints, invested $150 million in Derek Carr. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, plain and simple, this guy, is the starting quarterback. And you have to be able to root for this guy. You want to support this guy. You know what I'm saying? All jokes aside. So, it's not a slight or a knock on Jameis Winston as a quarterback. It's just the fact that, Derek Carr is the guy, and that's the guy we have to roll with. And I think that Derek Carr is going to do a good job. I think Derek Carr is a leader. I think that people like him. And honestly, despite what you may think, like, these guys feel like they can win with Derek Carr. A lot of guys are excited that this guy is the quarterback of the team. So if they're embracing it, and these guys have to work with this dude every single day, we as the Who That Nation, I feel like we just need to fall in line and support this guy as well. But we're going to go ahead and go to Jerry. Jerry, how you doing, man?
What's going on, TJ? How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. Know it's your birthday in a couple of days, man, so I know you're excited about that. June the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, you said it correct. TJ.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't forget because your birthday is the same day as my brother. Shouts out to my brother Sam, man. Y'all share the same birthday.
Yeah, shout out to Sam, man. Happy birthday to you, home to you as well.
Yeah, man. What you got for us, man?
Look, TJ, I'm sure you wrote it down because I put it in the chat before.
Yeah, I mean, look, I already knew, because I was like, man, because I think last year, like when you told me your birthday was June 14th, I was like, man, that's the same day as my brother's birthday, so I can't forget that, man. Plus, we gotta show love to you, Jerry, man. So
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. But yeah, Saints mini camp, OTA just took place, man. What you got for us?
Oh man, I'm excited to see these new players out here, TJ. Of course, we've been talking about lately. I want to see what Jamal Williams is capable of. You know what I'm saying, with Derek Carr and the return of Michael Thomas,
right?
And these new people we got, both offense, defense, and special teams. I'm just looking forward to see who we got.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm excited about the new changes that the New Orleans Saints have right now. For the last, I say about 7-8 years, we kind of knew what we had as a team, especially when it comes to quarterback position, running back position, receivers, or what have you. But now everything's just so wide open, man, and there's so many endless possibilities of what this team can actually look like. But I mean, just based on like some of the stuff that you've seen, Jerry, like the news about Derek Carr, the return of Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, it seemed like he's gonna take that extra step. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? I did do a story about Michael Thomas. I'll start with that. What are your thoughts about Michael Thomas, coming back early and being on the field as early as he has?
Oh, bro, I love it, man. Seeing Michael Thomas out there on that in that practice field, TJ, really puts a big spark on the Saints offense, because I already know with him returning and Chris Olave, who was smooth as you know what,
right,
and these other wide receivers, and I'm not going to mention Traquan Smith for all you Traquan Smith lovers out there, because he ain't gonna be on this team when the season starts. So, so for all you Traquan Smith fans out there, right, he ain't gonna be here with the Saints long. He's gonna find another team.
Oh man. Hey, but I mean, he definitely gonna have to work for it. It can't just be, oh man, you just a really good blocker, and you the dirty work guy. I think that we're kind of past that at this point. But I mean, all in all, I mean, you got some really talented guys on the team at the wide receiver position. You got some young talent, some hungry talent. So
Mm-hmm.
and I like the fact that the Saints went out here and they went and got guys that are capable of making plays. Because even though Michael Thomas has come back and we're excited about that, you can't just put all your eggs in one basket. I think that the Saints, kind of had a lucky rabbit's foot in their pocket over the last couple of years when it came to Michael Thomas being that only receiver that they had. And that was their opportunity to be able to find like a formidable number two. I think that right now they're forced. They're not, they feel like they have to find that guy. They're excited that Michael Thomas is back, of course, but you just can't just say, oh, Michael Thomas is back, so let's just go back to our old ways, because you don't know how long this thing gonna last.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, not only that, TJ, but I'm also seeing some of these new guys on the defensive side.
Right.
We'll see what this Foskey from Notre Dame is going to do, and this breezy defensive end or tackle from Clemson.
Right.
And,
right.
And I mean, I just want to see what these guys are capable of, and also that young corner we got from what's that Jordan Howden from
Minnesota. Yeah. I mean, look, there's so many different storylines that people can gravitate to. I'm just excited that football is back, man, and
Me too.
I'm just excited that it feels like change. I don't know what this 2023 New Orleans Saints team is going to look like, but hopefully they don't look like they did last year. I mean,
oh no.
All the way you can go is up at this particular
point. I want them to do a whole look. I said this on Dark 17's show Saturday.
Uh-huh.
I just want to see the healthiest squad we got with this team. Mean, because I don't want to see what happened last year. Right. I want to see what's going to happen this year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, that's what I'm looking forward to, Jerry. I just want to see better results than I seen last year.
Better results.
Yeah, averaging 19 points a game. That's a no-go. You know what I'm saying? That's a no-go. You're not getting anywhere with that. Not at all.
No, sir. I just because I want to see. Oh, I just want to see another winning season, TJ.
Me too.
I don't want to. I don't want to see us sitting in the corner and watch all these other teams fighting for to win the Super Bowl, and we're not and going to the playoffs and all that stuff. Right. I don't want to see that. I want to see us in there, and that's why I said, like I told on Dolph 17's show. F the Falcons, F the Buccaneers, and F the punk ass Panthers. That's right. I'm calling you out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got some supporters and onlookers that watch this show consistently, man. So they definitely felt that.
That's right. Y'all heard it from me.
Yeah, man. So Jerry, you got anything else for us, man?
Nah, man. That's all I wanted to say, TJ. Appreciate y'all with the birthday wishes and everything. Yeah. I appreciate you, TJ, and your family. Also, everybody in the chat. Much love to y'all. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for the birthday shout outs and all that. Even though I'm celebrating all this month, but I still thank you all. So
yeah, man.
So y'all be blessed, and I'll catch y'all on the next time.
All right, Jerry, man. You have a happy birthday. If I don't hear from you again, man, yes, many blessings. It's a blessing to be above ground, man. It's a blessing to see, another birthday, man. And I wish you many, many more, man. And thank you so much for the support, man. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro. Take care.
All right, you too. All right. All right. Shouts out to Jerry, man. Jerry, man, love that brother, man. Love that brother, man. And anybody that's celebrating a birthday, in the month of June. Man, may you have many, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to see another birthday. It's a blessing to be alive, man. That man, people don't know, man. Sometimes we just roll through life man, a lot of people ain't make it. A lot of people didn't open their eyes this morning. So if you have opportunity, man, to see another day, it's a blessing, man. Straight up. We're gonna go to the right. The right, how you doing, man?
Hey man, what's happening?
Man,
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you just fine. How you been?
Hey man, first of all, shout out to the OG. Happy birthday, teenager. Oh,
Yeah.
second of all, TJ Jones, the host
Yes, sir.
of the State of the Saints podcast.
Yeah, man.
My man, I would like to say that I would love to say that I would like to go into this season expecting the unexpected, but I have expectations, man.
Okay, all right. Sounds good to me.
Big one. I have big expectations simply for the fact that last year one of our Achilles heel was play calling, which after listening to everybody say what they had to say, kind of summed it up as Pete Carmichael had to pretty much send the play in one play at a time and rely on the center to call out protections or what have you.
Right.
However, to give Derek Carr that total ability to run the offense, send him in 3 or 4 plays and have him call out the protection. I heard my guy McCoy said, you know what? Now I could just play football, man. That's a big, man, that's huge, man.
Right. Yeah, man. And honestly, I know we love Drew Brees, but that just made Drew Brees so much special, man. Like I think that I think people like they miss the arm, the ability to throw the ball where it needs to go, the accuracy. But man, when you have a quarterback that can be able to call, call out the coverages and be able to tell you where the blitz coming from, or where a center can kind of just play free, that is a great asset to have, man. And if and from everything that I'm hearing, Derek Carr is doing that right now. Shouts out to Nick Underhill. Nick was talking about that. He said it felt like a Drew Brees practice. Now, I feel like we need to kind of separate ourselves from that, but in this particular aspect, I can get down with it because this has been something that's been missing since number 9 hung up the cleats, man.
Right. And if you think about it, like I said, we do have to separate ourselves from that. But if you can get somebody that is somewhat as accurate with a little bit more power, TJ, that's dangerous, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Bro, we talking about 24 points plus a game.
Yep. Yeah,
you know
man.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
plus,
sky's the limit.
I know. Plus, you got a defense that has the ability, and they're now gelling more because they all are in camp early. Right. And they all are starting to read each other's body language and understand what Dennis wants. And then these young cats are coming in. And like you said, man, they are hungry. TJ, I don't usually bring out my Saints stuff, man, until the season starts. I'm about to hang it up on the wall early, bro.
Yeah, the expectations are high as far as, bringing in Derek Carr, where the offense should go. And especially if the defense can be able to replicate what we saw towards the end of the season. And that's what I'm kind of looking at. But I am a little bit concerned. I'm concerned that for the last 3 seasons, the Saints ended the season defensively looking like top 3 defense. And then they come into the season, looking like the last, 31st defense in the league. That's, and I get that chemistry plays a huge role, and that's why I'm excited, because you have some guys that are familiar with one another now. You have Marcus May, you got Tyrann Mathieu, Lattimore, Lante Taylor, Paulson Adebo, wherever you want to put it. These guys have chemistry because they play with one another and they understand each other's tendencies because they had a full year. And so I think that, we can kind of get a little excited defensively because we're going to have to count on this defense in order for them to step up because, who knows if the offense is going to figure it out right away.
Right. It usually take the offense a little time to gel. You're absolutely correct. But, I look at the positions, man, as far as our offense is concerned.
Right.
And, when I look at other than the offensive line, when I look at the offensive talent, every position has a 3-headed monster.
Right.
Man, that is, oh my goodness. When you think about, okay, if I man somebody up on Chris Olave and I put a safety over the top of Mike,
Right.
do you know that Rashid Shaheed can kill you by himself? What slot corner gonna stick this dude?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
when I look at the two tight end set, and I think about the two tight end set that we put there, and we put any one of the three running backs back there, your safety's gotta come up.
Yep.
Your
I mean, look,
safety,
Rashid Shaheed, we seen splash plays and we seen like what he can do when the ball is in his hand. I mean, in a small sample size. So
right?
imagine like just a year removed, and having a full understanding. I think what people were seeing at practice when it came to Olave and Shaheed is the knowledge of the offense, the comfortability of their offense, and they can play free. Like that, a lot of rookies will tell you, like, it just like my mind is in a whirlwind because I'm trying to figure out all different type of things, trying to figure out the audibles and where I need to be. And then that full year under their belt, they come in and they're playing faster, they're making more plays. And I think that's what you're going to see with Shaheed and Olave. And this could come at a really good time because once again, I have a lot of respect for Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas is dynamic and talented, but you cannot put your eggs in that Michael Thomas basket like you've been in years past. You have to be able to count on some of these younger guys to step up and make these plays. And if these guys can do that, man, this offense can be very, very special to
Right. And other than that, man, that defense, I'm looking for the defense. Of course, the defense will eventually gel and be the monarch of everything. But I tell you what, man, this offense got me rather excited. And some of the coaching staffs have got me kind of like, okay, I see you guys. I see you. Yeah, but that's all I got, man. Look, I love everybody. Y'all know that. Who that? And again, happy birthday, man. TJ, man, thank you, brother. Appreciate your podcast always. To you and your family, man. You guys have definitely been a blessing to us. Everybody that's come out, man, as far as the podcasters, you guys have been awesome, man. And we thank you, man. And we appreciate everything you do to the smallest thing. Yeah, just man. Coming on and saying hi, bro. I see that at work. I'm dialing in. I'm going hide in the bathroom because I got to hear a little bit of what you got to say,
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. I started this show back in 2018, and I never imagined that it would actually get to this point, man. But it's been a blessing, and you all have blessed me to be able to do what I love to do. And if I can provide a little bit of entertainment and commentary to get you through your day, your night, it's all worthwhile, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, you take care, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, shouts out to the right, man. Shouts out to everybody that tune into the show. Once again, man, much love to everybody. Thank y'all so much for choosing the State of the Saints podcast. If you just joined us, we're talking about Saints minicamp. We're taking phone calls. I'm going to go ahead and put that link down in here again. I see some people probably want to try to chime in. This show, is a very interactive show. Sometimes if we don't do call-ins, we read the comments. Don't matter if you're donating or not. We ain't concerned about that. What we concerned about is diehard, Saints commentary. If you can provide that, then I can roll with you. Go ahead. We gonna go to Dolph, man. Dolph, how you doing, man?
Man, how you doing, TJ, my brother? Man, it's an honor, my brother.
Man, hey, man, thank you so much for being here. This is the Dolph 17 from Keeping It Real Who That Sports Podcast. Look, you can click off me and please subscribe to this man channel as of right now, man. Make sure that y'all hit him up, man, and show love to this brother. Works extremely hard, gives great commentary. And thank you so much for being here, Dolph, man. Appreciate that.
Man, thank you for opening up the lines, man. I think this is my first. Well, I think it's my second time. My first time with a clear line, man. Yeah. I get off that mobile phone, man. That mobile phone ain't working for me. I had to get off it, man. Now I'm in the office, man. But again, my brother, it's an honor, man. And like I told you before, man, just like Hoodie, Big Q, man, you one of the people I look up to, man. I admire you, bro. And I'm striving, bro. Y'all the trailblazers, man. And I'm trying to follow y'all footsteps, man, and make y'all proud, as well as my family.
Yeah.
So Man, yeah. So looking forward to this upcoming mandatory mini camp.
Right.
My main thing that I've been saying this week and today is I don't care about what's on paper. I had enough about what was on paper last year.
Yep.
Because right now, a lot of this stuff that we're saying and I'm hearing sounds redundant. Yeah, I mean, it sounds just like last year. And we all know how that turned out.
Yep.
You know, so my main thing this year is for the last 3.5 years, I believe, well, we all know, but one of the main things that has happened to this team is they've been snake bitten by injuries, but not just little injuries, but by major injuries.
Right.
Losing Michael Thomas, losing Jameis Winston, losing Andrew's piece of annual MIA. You know, and I love Pete. Unlike a lot of y'all, I love Pete. But man, I love what the Saints did this offseason. But man, week one, those new additions in the defense interior, we going to see exactly. Did we get an upgrade?
Right.
Or did we get worse, or did we stay the same? Because we got that monster coming in here, and like I've been saying, I'm gonna keep saying it, y'all. And I'm not gonna wood. I don't want nothing to happen to the kid or anything like that. But that monster coming to New Orleans, fully healthy, ready to go week one. We gonna see what Mr. Shepard, Saunders, Roach. We gonna see what y'all made of, man.
Yep.
Breezy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Peyton Turner. Because I think we're gonna see a lot of and I know a lot of people, as far as Peyton Turner go, it's kind of like we have that Davenport syndrome, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because when he's on the field, you see these moments and these flashes of the play, but he just can't stay on the field.
Yep.
You know, but I think this is a very important year for him. I think, let's say week one, he doesn't start the game, but yet he outsnaps every other defensive end not named Cam Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, because remember, sometimes it's not about who starts the game, it's about who finished the game.
Right.
You know, but great upgrades. Of course, the main thing was Derek Carr.
Yep.
Coming in. When we first got Derek Carr, man, you were one of the ones that were saying, because listen, let's face it, a lot of Who That Nation, they were not happy that the Saints went out and got Derek Carr. And as you was asking, I was asking Q, everyone was asking, who did y'all want the Saints to go out and get? There was no way the Saints were going out and get Lamar Jackson. That wasn't happening. That was a pipe dream.
Yep.
So listen, people act like Derek Carr is a bum or something, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Derek Carr is more mobile than people realize. He's not a statue back there. And listen, Drew Brees blessed it, man. Drew Brees said that Derek Carr is what the Saints needed. You know, and he said, in this offense, you need someone who's able to go up there, dissect the defense, and get us out of bad play and get us into a good play. So to me, when Drew Brees said that, that was an indictment. Me personally, that's how I saw it. That was an indictment to, maybe not intentionally, but to last year's signal caller who took the most snaps for this team. Also interested in the backfield, man. I think that's going to be a battle as far as this Elvin situation.
Right.
So let me ask you this. My thing is, as far as when Elvin, let's say Elvin gets suspended, or what, I think he's going, even if he beats the case legally, because he brought bad attention to the Shield, we know he's going to get some time.
Yeah.
What current running back on the roster do you see being that third running back while Elvin's serving his suspension?
Well, I see Kendre Miller, you know, serving as that backup, and Jamal Williams. You know, I think the thing about Jamal, where a lot of people kind of get misconstrued, he can catch the ball out of backfield and he can run between the tackles. Like if you watched him for the Packers, like you actually see that. And I think what it is, Dolph, is a lot of people saw him in short yardage situations last year with Detroit,
Right.
And they're like, man, okay, this dude is just like a battering ram, you know. But man, this dude can run in between the tackles. He has really good hands as a running back. Detroit just didn't ask him to do that. I mean, because they had Swift, who was, you know, who was their catch the ball out of backfield. Dude didn't have to lead the field, to be quite honest, which Jamal Williams was kind of that change of pace, and he just embraced it. So Jamal Williams can fill that void, and Kendre Miller can catch the ball too, which people don't understand as well.
I watched him. I'm in North Texas. I watched him at TCU.
Right.
Like I said, on draft night, of course, I was in my feelings when we didn't get Spears, but we ain't getting no chopped liver. We got a player. Well, I'm telling y'all, family, if y'all haven't looked at this kid's highlights and understand the significance of him to TCU, the importance, that kid was a difference maker for that football team. He was and he can catch, and he's a good pass blocker. I think a lot of times that's what a lot of us don't realize as far as being a running back, as far as them being able to stay on the field. Can you pick up that blitzing linebacker or that blitzing safety or that blitzing cornerback? That's what made Mark Ingram so valuable as a Saint in his prime, because he was one of the better pass blocking backs in the league. So like I was saying with Elvin now, of course, we got Williams, we got Miller. So my thing goes to does the young man, Cedric Thompson, the young man from Texas Tech, does he get the opportunity to be that third running back while Elvin's out? Is this the season that maybe Dwayne Washington doesn't make the roster?
Well, that's an interesting dynamic. You know, that's something that, you know, that people need to think about. I think with Washington, because of his ability and how talented he is as a special teams player, it's kind of hard to find those guys that can kind of, you know, do those things. So he kind of carved out a niche for himself, kind of like with JT Gray, right? You know, those guys are going to be on special teams. And, you know, if you can have a guy like Dwayne Washington that can kind of come in, that's familiar with the offense, understand it, if need be, he can come in. But I will say this, though. Now, the whole situation about Alvin Kamara, now I understand that how it may look as far as him, you know, bringing disgrace, quote unquote, to the shield. But if he's found not guilty, they can't you know, suspend him. What are they actually suspending him for? You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's the same thing with Marcus May, right? Marcus May, you know, he had the case coming up and stuff like that. I think it got thrown out, even though I think it's coming back around or something. I don't know how they doing that, some double jeopardy stuff, but he didn't get suspended either. So you can't suspend somebody if they're not found guilty of anything. Now you can say we're gonna suspend you for 3 games, but here's the thing, though. He can go and appeal that, and they can just throw those 3 games out. And they probably, like, man, you got to understand the NFL. The NFL will suspend him knowing that he's going to go in there and be like, okay, I'm going to try to get these 3 games wiped out. And they know they're going to wipe it out, but they still doing that because why? Because we want to show you that we don't take this stuff, you know, we don't take this stuff lightly. So we want to prove that we discipline our players, even though they know that they can't let this thing stick because the court system in Las Vegas didn't let it stick. So how can we? So
Roger Goodell, TJ, we talking about Roger Goodell, though.
It's about optics. It's about optics, man. Like, so if he doesn't get found guilty of anything, they can suspend him, but they probably just suspend him just for the optics of it, just to say, oh man, the NFL did something, right? But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was getting at. And as far as the offensive line, man, I'm very interested to see the backup right tackle battle. I'm very interested because I feel, and family members that heard me say it, I'm disappointed. Landon Young has disappointed me, the opportunities he's had.
Man.
I expected a lot more from him, and quite frankly, he just hasn't delivered. So listen, Lewis Kidd from last year, small town, I called it. And listen, kid's growing. Now he's playing him at guard and tackle. Salvadori. Did I say it right? Salvadori. Nick,
I think his name Nick Saldivari.
Saldivari. All right, because I'll be chopping the kid name up, man. I apologize.
I think everybody do, man. Like honestly, man. It's not an easy name to say at all.
Yeah, well, Pammy Whammy must not be in here because she always correct me. She break it down for me in syllables. Like, here you go, Dolph. You know, shout out to Pammy Whammy, man. But yeah, man. Very interesting, TJ, because I feel like the Saints are gonna go as far this year. Look, I told you, there she go. I knew it. I told you, there she go. Hey, TJ, Bob, put it back up. That's my girl, man. She always got on board.
Yeah, shout out to Pammy, man.
Let me see. Saldivari. All right, Pammy. Saldivari. There you go. Nick Saldivari. I got it, y'all. Say Pammy always got on board back, man. I knew she was lurking. I knew she was lurking, man.
Hey, man, she gonna get you straight, man.
Yeah, she keep on board straight, man. They got my back over there, man. Yeah. But yeah, man. I think we go as far as the health of the offense and defensive lines. Mm-hmm. And like you were saying, man, as far as Michael Thomas go, I just feel this year, we're gonna get at least 12 games or more from Michael Thomas. And if we get 12 games from a healthy Michael Thomas to go with these two young guns, his two understudies, as he said, the big three. But I'm not calling them big three. I got a name for them. I'm calling them the angelic three. The angelic three is going to get cut loose on this league this year. I'm very interested to see, will they, when healthy, once he's healthy and ready to go, will they please put Trevor Penning at left tackle, let him go through his growing pains, let him grow into what we need him to be, into what you guys picture him to be, the heir apparent to Teron Armstead. I think the kid is going to be good. Yeah. Just from the I think he got better every preseason game. I think when he came back last year, I still didn't understand how he was healthy enough to play the jumbo tight end in the game, but yet he couldn't start at left tackle until the last two games of the season. I still didn't understand that, but hey, the coaches, they know better than I know. Yeah. But I'm definitely looking forward to that, man. And look, everybody's been singing the praises of Jackson, the young linebacker. Listen, it's OTAs. It's good we're hearing good things, and we're not hearing people dropping balls, overthrowing wide open receivers. To all y'all Buccaneer fans who are now back to reality, I'm glad y'all got Baker Mayfield and we ain't got that headache. But yeah. I don't. You don't hear him chirping now, TJ, do you?
Nah, I don't hear nothing at all. I haven't seen a Bucs fan in a minute.
They normally be all in your chat talking when they had Brady. But reality hurts, man.
Yeah. I guess they retired too. They retired with Brady.
But all joking aside, like I said today, the NFC South is wide open. I don't see any clear-cut favorite. Just look at all the moves that each team has made this off season. Each team believes, even I don't know why, but even them in Florida believe that they have an opportunity to win this division. Look at the moves Atlanta's made. Carolina went all the way up to 1 to get their franchise quarterback, who I think is going to be good, who I think is that dude. I think that kid just has that it factor about him. Yeah. And then the move the Saints made, we're going to get Derek Carr. And like Dennis Allen said, Derek Carr is not the savior. He's just a piece to go in the cog to make this team go along. And I just want this year, I just want what's on paper to turn into reality, come together, gel, become a team, be a consistent team, be a smart football team, unlike last year. When, man, we can sit here and if we take the time and go through game after game, you'll say, well, the Saints hurt themselves there, could have won that game. Saints hurt themselves there, could have won that game. It was self-inflicted wounds week after week after week, and it got old, man. I mean, it got hard to do to come on with the family every week, and it's just like we all saying the same thing. We all seeing the same things. Like if we seen it, You know, the coaches see it. Let's be honest. We don't know more than the coaches. They know they with these players every day. They know the ins and outs of these players. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we think we know more than the coaches, and I thank God some of us not running the franchise. We probably won't even have a franchise in New Orleans.
Facts.
Because some of y'all be acting like y'all playing Madden with these GM decisions y'all be making.
Man, for real.
You know, like there's no salary cap. Or the Saints do act like ain't no salary cap because
man, we need to go and get Justin Jefferson, man.
Let's go get Justin Jefferson.
We need to trade Traquan for Justin Jefferson.
Who in their right mind go trade Justin Jefferson for Traquan Smith?
Man, you could get Thomas Jefferson for Traquan Smith.
Well, I'm about to make OG Uncle Jerry mad. Hey Jerry, and all y'all that hating, y'all know Traquan gonna be on this team again. I told y'all, nephew ain't going nowhere. I told y'all. Dennis just came out and told y'all last week.
Yep.
And look, TJ,
I can read between the lines.
Yeah. And T, did you know he even gave him some excuses?
Yep.
He actually been hurt the last couple years. Not last year, he said a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Man, for Traquan Smith not to be on this team, he has to totally just look like the bum that a lot of y'all think he is in practice. Because and I'm gonna tell you what, Brian Edwards is not allowed to make this team. Nope. James Washington is not allowed to. Only 3 people are allowed to make this team. As a matter of fact, the 4th or 5th wide receiver may not even go to training camp with the Saints this year.
Yep.
Remember, this year cut down date is just 1 day. Every team will cut from the 90-man roster down to the 53-man roster. Yep. And why have you, TJ? And I'm gonna get off and let another family members come on. What is your thoughts about the new rule for the emergency quarterback? And do you think that will open up an extra roster spot for someone?
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it because here's the reality. What happened in the NFC Championship game played a huge role in why they made this rule change. Because look, as much as Philadelphia fans try to make it seem, man, we're going to go to the bowl. Nah, bro. That game would have been way more interesting if Brock Purdy would have stayed in that game throughout the entire time. That game would have been way more interesting if Jimmy G would have been able to play in that game. So they don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like they do not want situations like that again. I think it's a good move. I think that teams need to be able to carry that third string. And then also, like you said, opening up opportunity for somebody else that can be able to make the roster. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it as a plus, and I think it's a long time coming. Now, the chances of what happened with the 49ers to happen again, probably not going to happen probably another 10, 15 years.
Right.
Like you got to go back to like probably the famous body bag game and stuff like that when they had like 3 quarterbacks playing in that game and it ended up a wide receiver starting that game. They ended up hurting 3 quarterbacks.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen again, but I like the fact that you can keep a guy. I'm going to just use this example like Jake Haener on the roster. You know, having Jake Haener learn from Derek Carr, learn from Jameis Winston, I think it'll pay dividends. This is a guy who completed 70% of his passes. So if he can add, he already got the accuracy dynamic. So if he can go and learn from these guys and the game can slow down for him, who's to say, after Derek Carr, decides to hang it up, or maybe after even with this contract, he may not be able to, live up to the hype. Now you have somebody that can actually come in and make some plays. Hopefully Jake Haener can be that guy. And hopefully some of these other third string quarterbacks who probably would have been on the street playing in the USFL, probably playing in the XFL in Canada, have an opportunity to be on the team. I love it, man.
Yeah, I like it too because our emergency quarterback, of course, is Taysom Hill. So, but
we got 4 quarterbacks.
So basically, what it is too is on game day, you can have that emergency quarterback active, but of course, there's no way he gonna play unless you lose both of your starters.
Right.
So you can actually have another player, and he doesn't count against the roster, against the fit, but he doesn't count against the 53, but he has to be a member of the 53. We can't bring him up from the practice squad. He has to be a member of the original 53.
Right.
So that I understand. So I think it's going to open up possibly. Do we keep 4 tight ends if Jesse James comes in and shows something?
Yeah,
I think that'll be light in the bottom we catch. From what I'm hearing, Lucas Crawl looks to be taking the jump. I'm still high on that kid. Man, that's a big kid, man.
Yeah.
I saw that kid in person last year. I was like, damn, son. Like, man, that's a big kid, man.
Yeah,
boy.
man. He
Don't
definitely,
play at
man.
that dinner table, boy. I tell you.
Yeah. So hopefully he can get his blocking down pack, man. Because if he does, man, he can be a valuable asset. I mean, he has a lot of traits that you look at and be like that you see from some of these formidable tight ends out there. I'm not gonna say Kittle, I'm not gonna say Kelsey, but when you look at guys like Dallas Goedert and stuff like that, the guy who played for the Cowboys who went to the Texans, like he got
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, like kind of like in that tier there. Not gonna knock your socks off and take over a game, but be able to give you quality plays down the stretch. I think he can be that guy, man.
And my final thought, I'm gonna get out here, man. Again, thank you for letting me come on, man.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem.
What is your thoughts of Pro Football Focus ranking Taysom Hill as a 3rd tier top 15 tight end?
I think that they looking at this from a certain perspective, because I look at it this way: when Drew Brees was the quarterback, Taysom Hill was a pretty decent tight end. You look at
right.
So I think they're looking at Derek Carr coming in, understanding the offense, and honestly, his ability. And shouts out to Aaron from Black and Gold Breakdown, because he's been talking about this and beating this drum. His ability, Derek Carr's ability to be able to get the best out of tight ends. I mean, he has got shouts out to Aaron again. He said he got Jared Cook paid. He got Darren Waller paid. Foster Morrow just got paid. So he knows how to get the ball to the tight end. So I can see that happen. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think that you're going to see Taysom Hill emerge to be a solid tight end. And also, I think he's going to be able to do some of the things that he been doing in the past. And I think he's going to be extremely effective because he's going to be able to. He's not going to be able to do the same thing over and over again, like running right up the middle. I think the Saints are going to kind of change it up, and I think they're going to be able to because of Derek Carr.
Right. And like I said, I just did a show on him. I call him the X Factor. I think every time we talk about the Saints, we forget about Taysom Hill and how important he is to this team.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill can literally take over a game, and he has done it. He's that special of a football player. The quarterback thing, we know that's a spot duty thing. That's not a every week thing. But the kid is a valuable member of that offense, and you take him out that offense and you're missing something. He's unique. Now you got every team around the league looking for a Taysom Hill, and you even have the man that carved out that niche for him at his new gig, trying to talk up a young tight end as that team's Taysom Hill, and he not here no more. And I ain't saying his name no more. I'm just gonna say that coach.
Yeah, I mean, look, I seen something online. Somebody asked a question like, "Who's the most versatile NFL player in the league?" I don't even think it's close. Like, Taysom Hill has carved out a niche for himself. For a guy, man, most guys would be holding a clipboard, even if they possess the type of talent that he has. The fact that he has made almost $100 million, and you have so many other coaches doing the same thing that the Saints have done with Taysom Hill. And not to mention, like, he's not the best quarterback in the world, but he still can throw the ball down the field, and we've seen him make big explosive plays using his arm. He is the most versatile NFL player in the entire league. I don't even think it's close. Like, catching, throwing, running in between the tackles, breaking tackles. It ain't even close to me. I know you got your Debo Samuels and you got your John Smiths.
Right.
There's only one Taysom Hill, man.
And Taysom Hill threw the best pass of his career as a member of New Orleans Saints last year. That touchdown pass he threw to Rashid Shaheed, that was the best pass Taysom Hill ever threw as a New Orleans Saint. First of all, it wasn't like it was a
punt.
A punt. You know what I'm saying? He actually did put too much air on it, had some zip on it. Then it went right over the outstretched hands of the safety. It was perfect.
Right.
You know, so listen,
dime.
It was a dime, man. I say that's Taysom right there, baby.
Hey,
you know,
man.
But yeah, man, listen. Everyone, man, again, my brother, thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I see everybody Wednesday, man. TJ, hey man, I still need you on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know when you'll be free, man.
Okay.
And we can make it happen, brother.
Okay, man. All right, sounds good, man. I appreciate you for stopping by, man. Thank you for your insight. Make sure that you continue to give us that real, man. You know, some people, man, they try to try to fluff it up and all that kind of stuff, man. I like the commentary. I like the realness. You know what I'm saying? I like the honesty, man. So, Dolph, keep on doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, man, we good, man. We'll shout out to my co-host, the legendary Coach Rock. He'll be back this week. Been in Brazil.
Oh, man.
We all ain't able, man. When I grew up, I want to be like him, you know.
Ain't it though?
Listen, he was so dedicated. He was on the chat from Brazil. I said, Coach, what time it is? He said, it's 3 a.m. and I'm drinking. I'm gone, man. Y'all have a good night, man.
All right, dog, man. You take care, man. Man, and shouts out to Coach, man. Hey, man, that's what you want, man. You want to catch flights, not feelings, you know. But shouts out to Dolph, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Brother understands the game, as y'all can see, man, and works extremely hard to give really good, solid commentary. Before we get the hoodie, I want to read some of these comments. I want to just completely neglect the chat here. It says, right on about Traquan, LOL. Traquan is going to be the MVP. MVP.
Hell no, to the no, hell to the no.
You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack?
Nah. Traquan, look, I think Traquan's, carved out a niche for himself. Will the Saints allow him to continue is the question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what direction the Saints are going to go in. Maybe they feel like, oh, we got Thomas, or we got Shaheed, or we got Olave. We should be straight, right? So, hey, there you go. But speaking of hardworking YouTuber and podcaster, I got to go to my next guest. He's on the line right now. Many of you know him. Y'all, if you don't, check out his YouTube channel. Of course, is youtube.com. Search Hoodie Jube. My guy, Allen Hoodie Jube. What's going on, man?
Who that nation? Come on in. Take a seat. Oh, wait, hold on. My bad. Wrong show. I'm on the wrong show. And he is the host.
Yes, sir.
Of the State of the Saints podcast, man. How you doing, TJ?
Hey, I'm doing just fine, Hoodie, man. How you been, man?
Been good. It's been working too damn much. That's why.
Man, I hear you, man. I hear you. But thank you for being here, Hoodie, man. Really do appreciate it, man. And also, once again, subscribe to the brother channel. Click off me. Search Hoodie Jube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. But Hoodie, man, what you got for us, man?
Yeah, so speaking, of, OTAs that has happened, and speaking of mini camps and stuff like that, and, I just been looking really close at, Nick Underhill and Ross Jackson, tweets to see what, been coming out and everything. And the one thing that, caught my mind, and I heard y'all talking about it earlier, was linebacker, DeMarco Jackson. And the cool thing about DeMarco Jackson that I think is pretty cool. We all thought last year when he got drafted, we compared them to like a Kawhi, the size, the weight, the way he plays side to side, so it was just a person that I really, liked. And, unfortunately last year he went down with an injury, in preseason, and we haven't been able to see him. Yeah. Well, good thing, good news now that he's doing great in camp. He's looking really impressive, they said, and Nick Underhill, and they were saying that's probably part of the reason why you haven't seen the Saints bring any veterans in yet. To maybe sign a veteran or something like that.
That's a good thing, Hoodie. And I don't think people paying attention to that. If they were out here looking, or we heard, the Saints signed linebacker such and such, I think that would be a area of concern. But the fact that this guy is here and the Saints aren't looking for a linebacker, that's a testament to how this guy is doing.
Yes, definitely. And that's a good thing to have somebody on here that's impressing everybody to where the coaches are like, "Whoa, shit, I gotta go get me a veteran player
Right.
because this ain't gonna work." So it's good to have somebody like that on the team. And
Mm-hmm.
with the way he's looking, and maybe if he doesn't, face another injury this preseason and stuff like that, and he actually
Right.
makes it, he could possibly, I would probably say, turn into the next Caden Ellis type of role. Get some playing time and get on the field and show you what he's really made of,
Right.
which is something that I'm looking forward to see. But speaking of having a look at the D line and stuff, a lot of people are still worried about adding another defensive end,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of us had our mind on Frank Clark. Well, he left, he's
Yeah.
off the board now to the Denver Broncos, which is fine. And I'm looking at other people, and I heard y'all talking earlier about it too. Danielle Hunter, would you trade for somebody?
Mm-hmm.
And all that. They got people going out there saying, well, look at the Commanders, looking to maybe trade Chase Young. Should we go after a
Yep.
guy like him? And,
Yeah.
well, the thing between Hunter and Chase Young, one of them's a veteran who's proved himself in the league on what he can do,
Mm-hmm.
but faces injuries. And then you got another one who shows you some flashes, but hasn't shown you enough because he's injured as well. So the question is, would y'all waste, picks on somebody like that, or would you rather go on free agency and sign somebody that's not really, injury prone and stuff like that, and
I
try to
would
just
say
add to your depth?
I'm gonna say this, Hoodie. I feel like it depends. I feel like it depends on how well Isaiah Foskey performs this offseason. Because I think that it will give you an indication of where his trajectory is and where he's going. Like, I feel like if you feel like, I think he, what we see, it's more like a rotation guy, not the guy that's going to be the successor to a Cam, right? I feel like that means that you will want to go out here and get a guy like Chase Young. But if you see flashes and see something special in this guy, like, okay, like probably around year 2, he really going to hit the ground running, I think you need to go after a guy like Danielle Hunter, because bringing him in alongside with Isaiah Foskey, that's more mentorship alongside Cam Jordan. And I feel like he will be able to hit the ground running, because the thing is, if you were to, make a deal for Danielle Hunter, you're not going to be getting them like 4 or 5 years. You're looking at 2-3 years top, 2 with a third, an option of a third year or something like that. So that's the way I look at it.
Definitely. See, like me, I think my favorite one, if I had to trade for it, would be Hunter, just because of the experience. Maybe he won't be as hurt, But Chase
Yeah,
Young just seems like he's just been injured every single year, and
fair
he
enough.
just so flashes. It was kind of like, I would say, I don't want to say like this, but kind of disrespect Chase Young because he was picked second overall.
Mm-hmm.
But he's turning into a Marcus Davenport, where when he's on the field, he shows flash that he can show you what he can do, but he
Right.
can't stay on the field. So he
Yeah.
might be the next Marcus Davenport, where they're not going to pick up his fixed-year option, and he's going to just have to go somewhere else in free agency.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what the Saints are going to do, at defensive end? Do you just sit put, see where Foskey is, like you said, or do we actually make a move?
Yeah, I think with Chase Young too, is something that is alarming too, Hoodie, is they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, right? Even if a guy has dealt with injury, but you see flashes, the team still would give him a 5th-year option, right? They're still like, okay, we're gonna pick it up and see where it goes. The fact that they didn't do that, you're wondering, what did the doctors see? What did the medical staff see? Like, is he going to be one of those guys that probably hit free agency and it probably looked like the Commanders made a mistake for about a year or 2, and then after that second year, all of a sudden those injuries that he dealt with early in his career are going to catch up with him? I'm just wondering, like, because it's weird for a guy to show those flashes and a team to not pick up a 5th-year option. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley, right? Saquon was hurt throughout his, the time he's been in NFL, but they still picked up his 5th-year option. So I'm just wondering, like, did the doctor see something? Now, I'm just that has me curious, man, because a guy of that talent and his ability to possibly be the next generation of great pass rusher, and you don't sign him to a 5th-year option, that's kind of sketchy to me, man.
Yes, it is, and that's what that kind of caught my eye too. It's like, I can't believe you're not even giving this man a 5th-year option, and y'all drafted him second overall. Like, yes, I understand the injuries, but maybe he'll have a better year this year, or
Yeah.
not. But they haven't did it, so it looking like he's probably going to be out of there.
Right.
And the other thing I wanted to go over is, it's the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's really been impressing me, and it's pretty funny because, I mean, yes, some Saints fans are talking about it, but
Right.
some of us are not talking about it enough, and that's
Mm-hmm.
at the wide receiver. People are saying, "Oh my God, Chris Olave is the MVP of the Kansas. He's looking good.
Right.
Michael Thomas is finally back on the field. Look at him. It's before training camp. He's actually back on the field trying to do some workout. Talk to the Derek Carr and all this."
Right.
But people are still forgetting that this year, and I'm calling it right now, I can see Rashid Shaheed having a breakout season and having
Mm.
the best season probably ever for our receiving core, just
Wow.
because people are going to be overlooking Michael Thomas and they're going to be overlooking Chris Olave, and they're going to forget
Wow.
all about what Shaheed did last year for like those 6 games we had.
Yeah. Man, look, I like Shaheed a lot. I do not I do not take back the statement that I said last season. The dude has a lot of traits that reminds me of Antonio Brown, minus the crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like losing his mind and want to be a rapper, scratch all that. But he has a lot of those abilities, man. Like his, like that his route running, I feel like it's going to improve tremendously. I mean, I've seen it. Like I've seen like some of the routes that he ran for OTA, just his footwork. You can see the improvement. You can see the confidence. And I don't think it's just a switch from 89 to 22 either. I just think that he's sure about himself. Olave, they're sure about themselves, man. And if they can get this thing together, man, we can have ourselves in New Orleans a really good 1-2 punch. And if Michael Thomas can provide that spark that he's provided throughout his time as a Saints wide receiver, man, the sky's the limit for this offense, man.
Definitely, and that's the other thing too. It's like you don't even know. See, like we hearing the flashes coming from Chris Olave, Rashid
Mm-hmm.
Shaheed in camp. You
Right.
don't know what you get from Michael Thomas, but a
Yeah.
lot of people like me, I think he's gonna have one of the longest season he ever played with. With
Mm.
it just because, like I told everybody this. I know it kind of sounds weird to say this, but if you just go look back at when he first got hurt to when he tried to fight to come back with the injury for Drew Brees because they knew it was his last season. He was supposed to make a comeback the next season while Jameis was quarterback. Jameis went
Right.
down. Oh, I got a setback. I can't play this year.
Yeah.
Comes back the following year, ready to play. Starts off good, for the first 3 games. Jameis got hurt, and once the fourth game came around in London, you didn't see no Jameis or you didn't see no more Michael Thomas the rest of that season. But
Yep.
now you got us a quarterback. Now you got a backup quarterback named Jameis that he's willing to play with as well. So
Mm-hmm.
if no injuries, I can see him maybe staying. And I was thinking in my head, maybe it was just because the quarterback, he wasn't going to risk his ankle even more to play with a quarterback that's not going to really, get him nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, so that's my thoughts. I think this receiving core is going to be really good. You still don't know what you're going to get out of some of these people we drafted, like A.T. Perry. You don't know what you're going to get out of an undrafted like Zach Davis or um, Flowers, Malik Flowers. Who's almost literally just like a succeed Rashid Shaheed, 2.0 with the
Right.
way they saying it. So you don't know what this team is going to do. But I always try to tell people, and I always argue with people on Twitter back and forth because some people just ain't, their mind just ain't there. Drink energy, drink something, do something to get your brain back to where it needs to be. But the reason why I argue with people is that, oh man, look at the schedule, yeah, it's an easy schedule, but I still feel like the Saints are gonna go 7-10, 8-9, at the best. And I said, oh y'all mentally retarded. I said, look, if the Saints stay healthy, we are going to be fine. You need to stop talking shit about Derek Carr acting like he ain't good. He's one of the best quarterbacks, at coming back because why his defense was so trash. He finally
Mm-hmm.
getting him a top 5, top 10 defense. He never had a
Mm-hmm.
top 25. He never had a top 25 defense. That's how sad
Right.
his defense were. So I said, we're good at quarterback. I said, so you just upgraded there. You just upgraded at running back, adding Jamar Williams, the guy who led the league last year in touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. And you're still going to have AK most likely for most of the season with the way it's looking. You drafted, Kendre Miller. You still got Benjamin back there, who's still a pretty impressive running back. So you're good there. Your receiving core is looking good. There's still rumors about us maybe going and get Hunter Renfro. So that if you add that to your roster, I mean, I don't know who's going to stop that offense. You got Taysom Hill at tight end. You got Jawan Johnson. You got Foster Moreau. Like you're so loaded, and your defense is the defense, and then you just loaded your defense as well this offseason, with DBs because of Marcus May might be getting suspended, injuries, occur. So now you got veterans depth, with Jonathan Abram, you got Lonnie Johnson back there. So you got people and you got so much depth at every position. The only position, we was talking about was basically the D line and maybe another linebacker just to help out just in case, an injury occurs. So I tell people, I said, if you go back and you look at the schedule last year, you go look at the scores, out of six games last year, we lost literally by one digit. By single digits over there. And some of those games were so close, like the Vikings game. You had Andy Dalton playing quarterback, and Will Lutz missed a big 61 or 62-yard field goal at the end. He made one but missed one, and we lost by 3 points. Some of the games were just 8-point games. One of them was the Carolina game. I think we lost maybe by like 10 points against Carolina the first time we played them. No, 8. But don't forget, Kamara fumbled. They scooped it up for a touchdown. Jameis, was playing with, 4 broken vertebrae in his back for some of those games. So, like, people are not looking into it and saying, oh, well, shit, well, Jameis was hurt. We had Andy Dalton as quarterback who can't run the West Coast like that, who can't call the plays. You got center calling the plays for you.
Right.
And a lot of people was getting hard on Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen. I'm like, well, what you want them to do? They can't run the same playbook and be creative with the playbook when you got a guy named Andy Dalton who's just going to be a stick figure and just stand there and not move. He's gonna just, be your quarterback and just hope something gets open. You can't run that many plays, but when you're bringing a guy like Derek Carr who can actually move around, that can run the West Coast offense, that can call the plays and change the plays at the line if you need them to, you can get more creative. The book's gonna be open more. So like this, I think this season is gonna be so much better. And you telling me we still went 7-10 last season with Dennis Allen? This is one of the best seasons he ever had as a head coach, 7-10. And I said, what do you think would have happened last year? Jameis would have never got hurt, and you would have had at least a talented quarterback that could have had a better upside, way better upside than having Andy Dalton back there. We might have finished 9-8 or 10-7 last year, but we didn't because we were so injured last season. And now you're getting healthy. Now you're adding the depth, and now you got one of the easiest schedules this year. And you're telling me out there, oh, I'm still on the see us going 7-10.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. The people that you're talking to on social media, they know that this team has the capability to be really, really good, and in the back of their minds, they probably feel that this team is going to be really good. But it's almost like this, right? It's almost like you go to the club, right, and you see this beautiful woman over there across the room, right, and you just like, man, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna talk to her, but she don't give me her number. I'm good, man. It's all right, man. It ain't the end of the world. But if you walk over there and you get that number, you turning backflips. I feel like when it comes to this team, people want to get excited about it, right? But they trying to play it off cool. So they're trying to kind of soften the blow. Like, oh, man, we got Dennis Allen. Oh, man, look what happened to us last year. Oh, it's the same thing that we was all excited about last year. It's going to be the same thing this year. They are trying to soften the blow because in reality, they want this team to succeed so badly. And I just feel like that's the reason why they're just trying to throw dirt on it. So they feel like, oh, if it don't happen, then I ain't going to be, that concerned. But they really are that concerned, and they know that this team in the direction that they're going in, getting Derek Carr, if this offense mesh, if they stay healthy, and if you look at this schedule that they got, that people will say is relatively easy. I'm kind of skeptical about that part because teams get better every year. But if you're looking at this overall record of what those teams had last year, you got to be extremely excited about what you're going to be, and what you're going to see as a Saints fan and an onlooker, what this team is going to be. So I don't understand it. Like you can say that maybe they won't be as good as everybody say or making, but to say that this team is just going to be absolutely hot garbage, I can't buy that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's just trying to soften the blow. You know what I'm saying? You really want this girl phone number, but I'm going to act like I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, they got a couple more over there. I probably can holler at, but you want that number. And when you get that number, you're extremely excited about it, and you can go home because you're excited. You got to wait that full day, and then you're like, I'm going to call her because you're excited about that number. People are excited about this team. They're just trying to keep it to themselves. But you also have to look at what this team has done, like you've been alluding to, Hoodie. This team has really done the things that needed to be done in order for them to be successful. If they're not, then I don't think you need to be looking at this team. You need to be looking at that coaching staff.
Definitely. And sorry to all the women out there. Yes, we would be doing backflips and all of this to get your number, but we also gonna be doing them backflips once we realize, what you look like without the makeup on. We jumping out the bed with backflips. Yeah, the way. Just I'm sorry, women, that's why I try to tell. That's why I told.
When I got my wife's phone number, I was excited. I don't care. I was like, yeah, I got that number.
See, look, she like, I'm just messing with the ladies, but ladies, look, this is what I try to tell people. Why are you trying to dress up and put makeup on and try to look so, beautiful just to steal our hearts? And then when we get in the day, you look totally different. Just don't wear the makeup and show us what you really look like and see if that person likes you for you. You don't have to put so much damn makeup on, right?
Yeah.
That's how I don't know. That's how I feel. But I guess the last.
And Hoodie, we got to flip the script too, because we got some lady listeners out there too. The guy that was eyeballing you across the room, hoping that he come over there and talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Hope he like, if you don't come over here and he don't buy me a drink, I'm good. Nah, man, you excited about it. You want that brother to come over there. You know what I'm saying? But hey, It is what it is, man. Like I said, man, we all want to be excited about this team. Long story short, man.
Definitely. And just to tell you my last prediction, this is gonna be my last thing, and then I'm gonna let somebody else come on, and that's gonna be my prediction. And just some Saints. So number one, this is my prediction. I think the Saints will finish at least with a 11 to 12 wins. I think they can even go higher, depending on how healthy we stay and how fast this offense and defense starts clicking. Defense take off where they left off last year. Good. If the offense starts clicking early too, I'm super excited this team can go over 11, 12 wins just because of how talented this team is. Yeah. But I'm also predicting, and I'm also been arguing with people. I've been telling people the Saints do not be shocked if the Saints win the NFC this year. And a lot of people are like, well, what about the Eagles? What about the 49ers? What about these teams? I said, okay, look, I understand how good they are. But I said, the Eagles lost some good players this season to other different teams because they performed. On the defensive side, they got a new defensive coordinator now because he left to go be a new head coach. The old one did. Right. I said, you got other teams, you're trying to see what their quarterback's going to be looking like the 49ers. Is it going to be Sam Darnold? Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Brock Purdy now? With everything, who's going to be their quarterback? Was Brock Purdy just a one-hit wonder, for that one little season like Nick Foles did during the playoffs, and then boom, he ain't the same. You don't know what the team's going to be doing. And you go look at the schedule, the Eagles and the 49ers and them who did, excellent last year, ain't got the same schedule. And I'm looking at the Eagles that a lot of people are talking a lot of crap saying the Eagles are going to be this good. You still got to go up against a Bill Belichick and Patriots, really good defense. Their offense gotten a little bit better. You got the Vikings. You got the Jets. You got the Dolphins. They got the Cowboys twice. The Giants twice. They got the Chiefs. They got the Bills. They got the Niners. They got the Seahawks, who did really good last year, scoring a lot of points. They got a really tough schedule, and a lot of people just thinking that they're gonna be walking out 14-3 again like last year. And I don't think they realize this is a way tougher schedule. And when I tell people, oh, well, I think the Saints are going to win the NFC, they're like, well, you freaking crazy. You see what they did last year? And I said, but did you see what we added this offseason? Did you see the schedule? Did y'all see the Eagles schedule? Who they got? So that's why I try to tell people. So that's my prediction. I think Saints could easily win the NFC, and a lot of people are going to be shocked this year with the records in the NFC with the teams that did really good last year.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting division all in all. Like I said, I think based on what I see, I think the Saints will be a double-digit win team. If they're not, and I think somebody just said this, I think some heads need to roll, man, because you're not going to be in a better situation than what you are right now. And we hope this, because here's the reality. You only got this schedule because you sucked. Let's just call a spade a spade. When you play badly, the NFL schedule makers tried to give you a little bit of an olive branch, so to speak. Okay, man, you did bad, but we're going to give you an opportunity to kind of right the ship. So here's this schedule that's a little bit lukewarm here that you can be able to get back to your winning ways, or if you haven't had any winning ways, here's an opportunity to do so. So if you're not doing it with this schedule, man, I don't think the situation can get any better unless you so bad that you're in a Caleb Williams sweepstakes, and we all hope that ain't the case, and I highly doubt that it will be.
Definitely. And just to tell you real quick too, I think this team, if this team stays healthy, they clicking on all the cylinders on both offense and defense, you could possibly see the Saints pull off a Rams Super Bowl thing, just like a Matthew Stafford coming to the Rams and going straight to the Super Bowl and winning it. Because you look at their roster that year they won, and look at our roster is way more talented and has so much more depth than them. So we can easily pull one of those off. And I want to ask you a question. The dude next to you, that's the nephew that's been been practicing with you.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to know: will he be willing to play for the New Orleans Saints in a few years once he's done with college?
Hey, Kaylin. So the question is, if you were to be drafted by the New Orleans Saints, would you play for them? Even though you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, would you play for the Saints? Okay. the money green. I'm playing, right? Hey, but look, regardless, you ain't gonna have no saying about it. You go out there, you perform, and a team gonna pick you up. So regardless, it could be the Saints, it could be your team, the Chiefs, it could be any team, but you gotta be willing to play for them. Yeah, exactly. Money is money. Yeah, man. But he on the right path, man. He definitely working, man. He in the lab, and man, we gonna get him straight, man. He's a great athlete, man. So you're gonna hear about him in a couple of years, man. No doubt about it.
Yeah, just let him know if he ever needs somebody to train with. If he needs like a big defensive lineman looking dude running after him screaming, I can do that for him. I'm pretty big. I got the speed. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably like a Sanders that we just picked up this year. Pretty quick, bad. I can't do the backflips like him. I'm not that quick. I'm not that athletic, but I can definitely run sideline to sideline for a few plays, and then I'm done for the game because I'm tired.
Oh man, well we always looking for people that we can practice with, man. But man, but all in all jokes aside, Hoodie, thank you so much for being a part of the State of Saints podcast. Thank you for your commentary, man, and man, continue to do what you've been doing on your channel, and man, the sky's the limit for you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for allowing me to come on this great show, this great panel that you created, man. And I'm gonna keep making sure that every time I see a video for like your Gumbo Sports, we're gonna make sure we get that pushing out too, because can't wait to hear what you got to say about all the NFL teams as well. You kind of expanding everything instead of just doing Saints, and that's my plan too. Make my channel big enough for my Saints channel, and then eventually, kind of separate it and kind of do everything in the NFL.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, that's the thing is about, so I just enjoy sports, man. And I mean, I love the New Orleans Saints. That's my first love, of course, and I'm going to continue to do it. But it's about growing, and what I'm saying, and also just about developing a new niche. And it's something that I'm taking a lot of pride in, and I appreciate the kind words, man. I appreciate that support as well.
No problem, man. And all I can tell everybody is who that.
Appreciate it, Hoodie.
You welcome.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to Hoodie, man. Yeah. Before we get to Izzy, I'm gonna read a few of these comments, and then we'll just go ahead and let Izzy end the show. It says, and they had the easiest schedule last year. I don't know exactly what we're talking about. I kind of caught the tail end of that. I apologize. It says Eagles was good last season. Sure, but I seen this all before. The Rams were good just the season before too. Teams change and things happen. And not to mention the dynamic of teams like to measure themselves up against the class of a respected conference, and especially those that won championships. So no matter how bad you are as a team, or a team that's probably, in the cellar, they still are going to play as hard as they possibly can, because they want to be that team to knock off the champs. They want to be the team that knocks off the class of that division. So, I still feel like regardless to if they, re-up on a talent, every team is going to give you their best, because that team wants to know that if I can possibly be, in that number when it comes to the playoffs. So I think that you're going to get that. Tron says, TJ, didn't you say the Panthers will be better than we will? I thought that highly. They are not stronger than we are. Yes, I do give the Panthers the notch. I'm sorry, the notch. I apologize. I'm just keeping it 100. Like I wish I can wear those pom-poms, but I like the fact that they got Frank Reich, who I feel is the best coach in this division. The fact that they swept the Saints last year with mediocre quarterback talent. And I don't know if y'all been keeping up with Bryce Young, but the dude is as advertised. And not to mention they have a very young defense that is capable of making plays. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. I mean, I'm just being 100 with you. I think that coaching matters, and I also think that the chemistry that that team has by having young players that have been with each other 3 and 4 years, I think that matters. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Saints secondary improved and got better from 2017 to the present when you drafted Marcus Williams, Marshawn Lattimore, and you had other guys that were out there as well that, you know, with PJ Williams and all these other guys that learn how to be pros and professionals together. I don't think it was an outlier that the fact that those guys grew as veterans and as teammates, and the Saints defense was better. I just think that plays a huge role. So I mean, I like the Carolina Panthers as far as their team, and also you also have to take into account, folks. I know you don't want to hear this, but if we're talking about the Panthers, we talking about the Bucs, we talking about the Falcons. When it comes to the Panthers, out of all those three teams, the Panthers are the team that always seems to be neck and neck. They always seem to be the team that gets it together like the Saints do. The Saints won 4 straight division titles. I think the Panthers won 3 straight, right? I mean, they're a good football team, man, and I gotta give credit what credit is due. Frank Reich did not deserve to be fired by the coach, and the fact that he got fired, it came as a godsend, in my opinion, to the Panthers. You know, man, and the Panthers do a really good job at drafting. They do a really good job at the front office. I mean, you got to give credit what credit is due. And they did not give up everything they possibly could to get Bryce Young if they didn't feel like he's the future. And I'm telling you, folks, this dude is as advertised. If you think that he's just about to come out there week 1, I mean, a week 2, whenever the Saints play him, I can't remember, but if you think he's going to come out there and just be throwing picks like Razor Ramon, you sadly mistaken. I'm serious. Like, if you think he's going to be out there just throwing the ball and giving gifts like he's Santa Claus or some other, the Easter Bunny or something like that, this dude is as advertised, folks. And this dude is going to be like, if he stays healthy, the same way other teams felt about Drew is going to be the same way we look at that dude. That's how much respect I got for the dude and for what I've seen and what I witnessed. I'm telling you, the Saints are going to have to earn it. And you also have to take into account, too, it's not just the New Orleans Saints that has this schedule. Take that into consideration as well when I'm saying these things. It's not a knock on the Saints. The South is playing the same schedule, folks. We are the one of the few teams with a veteran captain and all pros at each position outside of the kicker and punter problem. Yeah, I mean, but you still got Pro Bowl talent in both of those guys. I don't know what happened with Gillikin last year. I don't know if he was reading his own press clippings, and I don't know what happened with Will Lutz, but Will Lutz better get it together. He's going to find himself looking for a new job. Harold Perkins had that boy panicking, and DeMario way better. Let's see. Harold Perkins is a beast. I believe this year we will come in on. I hope so. We sweeping them boys. I'm sorry. I mean, look, I'm not sitting up here saying that my words are gospel. I'm just giving you my opinion. If you feel that way, you well within your rights. I mean, you're looking at this talent and you're looking at what these dudes are doing as far as getting the right players and getting the pieces together. I can completely understand why somebody feels that way. And honestly, this is one of those situations that I want to eat crow. I don't mind this. Like, seriously, this is not my hill to die on. If somebody comes to me, and shouts out to Tron, but if Tron comes to me and be like, man, TJ, you said that the Panthers were going to win the division. Look at them. They suck. I will eat that crow. Somebody pass me that bowl of crow and I'm eating it. I don't care, because the bottom line is I want the Saints to be successful. But I'm not going to act as if, I'm oblivious to what I see. I make my points based on the things that are presented to me and what I feel. Do I hope that I'm wrong? Absolutely. And I will be the first to come on here and talk about how wrong I am, if I am wrong. Because if I'm going to say this with my whole chest about how I feel about it, I'm going to come back and say it again. It's not that big of a deal to me. This is one of anything that involves the Saints being more successful than my take, I'm for it. And I will eat that bowl of crow. I will pull up to that table anytime because I'm a Saints fan at the end of the day. I get your premise though, TJ. Panthers play us close every single year, no matter the team. Yeah, I mean, but look, if you feel that way and you feel like it's the Saints year, I don't blame you. I don't blame you because if the stars are aligned, if guys can stay healthy, then this can be a magical year. This can be a magical year. Let me get your thought. Let me talk to my nephew. Okay, so let's flip the script a little bit. All right. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, they're the world champions. Do you think they're gonna repeat?
I hope. I'm saying no.
You're gonna say no. Okay, so why not? Okay, so you got Patrick Mahomes, right? All right, you got some talented guys on your team. You got Kadarius Toney. You got Justin Ross, who I'm cheering for. Now, I don't know if you know about Justin Ross, but he was a wide receiver at Clemson. He ended up having like some injury issues, so he ended up falling into the draft. I think he ended up becoming undrafted, but he was going to be like really, really good, but he ended up being missed for the season last year. But from what I seen at training camp, dude's going to be a beast. So, I mean, look, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes, you know you're going to be putting up big yards, right? But, okay, so you don't think they're going to repeat. Who you think going to win? Who you think going to win it all? If I'm gonna let you think about it, we'll get back to you on that because I don't want you just sitting here. And I know you're not a Saints fan like that. Okay, I'll allow you to come down Montague Street because I love you and you're my nephew. Okay, but the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to talk about your squad now. Okay, just talk about your squad. Let me read a few more comments. I'm gonna let you think about it. If it ain't the Saints, then who is gonna be? Says just got here. What's good, TJ and the SOTS fan? What's going on, Jared? Appreciate you being here, man. Better late than never. He said, I'm doing well, fam. How are you? Doing good. Says, I'm so tired of saying the Chiefs won't be back for them to end up in the AFC Championship. Hey, look, as long as they got Andy Reid, they're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Andy Reid is the best coach in the league right now. Okay, I still feel Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time, in my honest opinion, but it's clearly that something is missing without Tom Brady being his quarterback. So, but we have seen Andy Reid take Vic. We've seen him take McNabb. We've seen him take Mahomes. We've seen him take all these different quarterbacks. I'm not thinking what Matt Castle. Matt Castle got him paid. No, it wasn't. Did he get Matt? Nah. Matt Castle ended up like being a Pro Bowler because of him or something like that. Of some of that magnitude, but Andy Reid is the truth, okay? And so is Patrick Mahomes, man. So is Patrick Mahomes, but it's not gonna be easy. So you have some time to think about it. All right. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Who you think gonna be on top? If it's not your team, the Chiefs, who's it gonna be?
I mean, I think the team's out there. So anything can happen.
Okay, so let's talk about Philly though. Okay, so Philly was a topic of conversation, right? You got Jalen Hurts. He had a really good year. They had a really good, talented team. Had the best record in the NFC. Do you think that they can go back to the Super Bowl? You think that's possible?
Yeah. Or y'all feel like you go back or they get close.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Look, it's kind of hard for a team to like repeat to be a Super Bowl champion. The Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? Look, as long as they got Mahomes and he's straight, they gonna be all right.
Even if they don't get to the Super Bowl, at least the Chiefs, I feel like they're gonna get close.
Right. Okay. I mean, look, the Chiefs always it's rather the AFC Championship or Super Bowl, but I do feel like, look, I can't go against Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow, that boy is a beast. And if they can keep that offense together, man. They lost Samaje Perine. He played for the Denver Broncos. He was the backup running back. Don't know what's going to happen with the running back group. But man, as long as they got that dude, they're gonna be all right. Let's see. If we under 500 by week 6, I'm gonna have to sell these tickets to the Texans game. Look, if they under 500 by week 6, somebody needs to. This needs to be somebody last season for real. I'm sorry. It is what it is, folks. Y'all better watch out for Baker and them championship Bucks, them champion Bucks.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack?
Somebody got to be smoking right now, man. Ain't no way this man that came on here talking about no Tampa Bay yucks up at this thing after what we see, man. Nah, bro. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that them bringing back the creamsicle jerseys is suffice to what this season is going to look like, because we all know what the creamsicle outfits really look like, you know what I'm saying, and what they represent, right? They represent ineptitude, they represent sorry, they represent pathetic, and I feel like it suffice because, you know, they rolled butt backwards into prosperity with Tom Brady. Now all of a sudden they feel like they're going to do it again, and I just feel like they sadly mistaken. Now I like the energy. And I like the fact that you came back here because you want to show everybody that it wasn't just Brady while you were a fan. But let's just be honest about this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, ain't nobody checking for them. And it is also a reality. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, coast to coast, everywhere, from the east to the west, to the north, to the south. I'm probably naming geographical areas where there are no Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. But nevertheless, this is a reality to Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans everywhere, that nobody is checking for you all. I haven't seen a segment on television. I haven't seen a debate that has taken place in 2023 going into the 2023 season that involved the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And do you know why? Because ain't nobody checking for no Tampa Bay Buccaneers without Tom Brady. It's just that simple. It's not a knock. It's a reality. And once again, when you put those creamsicle jerseys on, when you put that orange jersey on with the guy with the dagger in his mouth, with the winking of the eye, it's just symbolic of what this season actually is. And that is a season of disappointment and time spent long overdue in the basement, because that's where y'all gonna be, down in the basement. That's where y'all gonna be at. I'm telling you, man. I'm just being real with you right now. I mean, I ain't been hearing from y'all. It's been kind of scarce. I heard Tampa Bay faithful saying a whole bunch of stuff over and over. I know you heard it. Tampa, man, we about to win the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, we about to win it all. Everybody, they hopping out the trees. They hopping out the bushes. They hopping out of cars. They hopping out the sewer. Everywhere they can hop out to tell everybody that they are legit. And now in 2023, where they at though? I think the intro to this show speaks volume. Where they at though? Where are those Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans that have been out here, quote unquote, beating the drum for Tampa Bay? I ain't seen you. It's been a minute, man. I'm just saying. But I have nothing but respect for the brother that came up in here, that made it short and sweet, that said that they're going to be the checking for the champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though in reality, ain't nobody checking for them, not even themselves. But hey, it is what it is. Final comment says, you got Buck fans talking spicy while some of our fans talking about 7 wins. Man, stop it. Well, I tell you what, if you have less confidence in the Saints as Tampa Bay has more confidence in their team, then I tell you, boy, your priorities are all messed up. I'm telling you right now, I believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win some games. I have to. But I also feel like they're not going to be very good. And I just think that they went to Vegas, put it all on black. They cashed out, right? But the reality is they cashed out But Kayla, they ain't saved no money, man. They just went out there and started buying Jordans, and they started buying Balenciaga, and they started buying red bottoms, and they used up all their money. Now they're walking around with potato sacks on. Okay, that's the way I look at it. You were supposed to save it for a rainy day. When you had those opportunities with Tom Brady, you were supposed to go out here and add some more talented players to the team. But what did you do? You cashed it all out. You cashed it all out, man. You cannot go out here and buy all the Yeezys that you can find. You can't do that, man. And you expect for you to have some money at the end. It's just not going to happen. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Shouts out to everybody that chimed in, everybody that called in. Much love to you. Previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And also you can check out the Gumbo Pot Sports podcast that is available right now on YouTube, youtube.com. Search Gumbo Pot Sports Podcast. Check out the articles and also previous episodes of the State of the Saints and the Gumbo Pot on the website gumbopotsports.com. I did say this. I'm glad that he chimed back in. Just before we go, I see Izzy in here. I'm gonna let Izzy get in before we get up out of here. Izzy, how you doing?
Hey, TJ.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I called back in April when I went to the draft.
Yeah. How did you enjoy yourself?
It was wonderful. It was great.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I'm not gonna talk about all because I know you want to get out of here. Just I had some points. So I don't need to talk about them because you hit them up pretty well. So the next time you do this, I'm gonna talk about all my talking points.
Okay. Look, if you had something to say, I don't want to feel like, I want you to be able to, say what you got to say. I don't want you to feel like, I'm trying to run you up out of here. You feel free. Feel free to say it, express yourself and say what you have to say. Okay.
I'm just really excited for this season. I just really miss football. I'm ready for it to come back anyway. So I want us to stop talking about getting Chase Young. Please stop that. Please stop.
Okay.
Delvin Cook. Stop talking about that. Please stop.
Yeah.
Stop talking about Hunter Renfrow, although he would be a great addition. Just stop. Right. I don't want to trade no picks. I don't want to do any of that. I want us to just let's get over the coaching that's going to happen this season because I have zero confidence in the coaching. A lot of confidence in the talent, zero confidence in the coaching. I'm just I'm ready for that to go. We need to move on about this Drew Brees talk, comparing our current QB, Derek Carr.
I agree with that.
Brees.
I agree with that.
I want that spirit, that culture of excitement, and I think it's there. I'll see when I go to training camp in July. Because I'm gonna go home because I told you I live here in Kansas City.
Right.
And Kansas City is not going to take it all this year.
You hear that? She stay in Kansas City,
man.
Your
nephew.
Hey.
They are not. I'm gonna tell you why. I live here, okay? And usually every year around this time, it's a big talk up, Patrick Mahomes on the television. They do like, the Saints do at home.
Right.
But I have not seen hide nor hair of Patrick Mahomes on the news, on the sporting reports that they have for the local channels here.
Right.
And I'm believing because he was hurt really bad. He really was. He played hurt. Especially in the championship game. I think, and here's another thing I wanted to say. I'm doing this all over the place.
No, it's all right.
I don't think the Saints, when we played the Eagles, we played them 3 years in a row, all three in Philly.
Philly, yep.
That includes Drew Brees last year. And Jalen Hurts beat us every time we played them until last season. And what was Jalen Hurts? He was hurt.
Yep.
So he didn't play. So I don't even count that game. I want to beat the Eagles with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So I don't even count it. But Patrick Mahomes is hurt, and there's been no talk about it. Like, it's silent. Nothing. So I'm just saying, that's why I think he went a couple of times to OTAs.
Yeah.
He did, but not so. He's been in the building, just not, really doing anything, because I think they're doing a lot of rehab with him.
Right.
But yeah, they're not going to take it. Who's going to take it? I think it's going if the Eagles play to the level they played last year, because I believe that they didn't lose because it was an even match game. It just so happens that the Kansas City Chiefs had the ball last, and they kept making little mistakes at the end with all those calls. But
Yeah.
I think it could be the Eagles that could take it if my beautiful Saints, my loved ones. Now, Ross Jackson got us winning 10-7 games. Okay. But there's this guy on, and I'm really starting to hate NFL, Good Morning Football, and all that other stuff. I really am going to stop talking about looking at them. But they got one guy on, I think Total Access, got us winning 9 games.
Yeah.
I said he's out of his rabbit behind mine.
Yeah. I think when people are picking, the Saints to not win double-digit games, I think it has a lot to do with what you was talking about earlier. It's Dennis Allen. Like, seriously, like, look,
Right.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not one of those people. I look, that's probably the main reason why, they tell me, oh, we like what you do, but we don't want you to come down here and cover the
Right.
team. I'm good with that. If that means that I gotta, what I'm saying, like, man, seriously.
We just gonna have to prove it. We're gonna have to prove it. Get out there and play.
Everybody knows it's Dennis Allen. I'm sorry, it's Dennis Allen. And look, if Dennis Allen look in the mirror, he know that's the reason why nobody picking him. He has something to prove.
It's him.
So, look, I feel like they are capable of winning double-digit games, right? But they got to be able to get out of their own way, and they also have to win the battle of attrition as well. They got to win that. It's been issues with injuries that has caused this team constant setbacks, and hopefully they can get it together so they can, they can win these double-digit games and maybe even make it interesting, be a top 3 seed, 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, they need to get it done, though. They need to get it done.
And one last thing, just the last thing, and then I'm finished. Also, the reason why I believe that Kansas City will not take it is because Eric Bieniemy is not there anymore.
Okay. All right, fair.
So,
that's fair. Now, that's fair. And honestly, I think if they don't be as effective as they were offensively in years past, you have to give that man his credit, because nobody was giving this guy's credit when Andy Reid was on the sideline. It's Andy. If this guy goes to the Commanders and he has Sam Howell playing out his mind, and he has Terry McLaurin and all those offensive players out there being effective with the Commanders, and you see a step back with the Kansas City Chiefs, there's no way in the world that guy shouldn't be a head coach in 2024. No way.
That's right.
No way.
Thank you for accepting my call. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too, Izzy. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
All right.
I call back anytime. All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, shouts out to Izzy. Like, for real, like, I'm serious. Like, that's somebody that is important too to your Kansas City Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy. If Eric Bieniemy goes to the Commanders and that offense is rolling and the Kansas City Chiefs takes a step back, once again, I'm gonna look into the camera over here. That man better get a job in 2024. I don't want to hear nothing about what Shady McCoy said about him. Who cares? This man deserves to be a head coach, and they no longer can just hide behind that whole Andy Reid narrative. Straight up. But thank y'all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to everybody here once again. And also check me out on Twitter, TJYJones8. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. And once again, for those that don't know, you can hit that like button. You can subscribe to the channel. You can comment. You can also share these videos and check out the Gumbo Pod Sports website, gumbopodsports.com, and check out the new article, man. I have an article that just came out about DeMarco Jackson and him stepping up in the absence of Caden Ellis, moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, and much, much more. And also the app is available as well. There's a link that's available on the Gumbo Pod Facebook page as well as my Twitter page, where you can actually download the app and you'll get notifications every time I do a show, the podcast, and everything, all the new news articles that I put out. Make sure you check it out. Till next time, this has been the State of the Saints podcast. And like always, all I got to say is,
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.